Ever wished you had Patrick Jane's superhuman lie detecting skills? In The Mentalist, Jane can tell who's lying in seconds using keen observation and mind games. So today, I'll reveal how he does it and how you can spot lies in everyday life. Patrick Jane's first rule of lie detection is simple. Know what normal looks like. Before accusing anyone, he observes how they act when they're relaxed and truthful, which is their baseline behavior. In psychology, establishing a baseline means watching someone's typical body language, tone, and habits under non-stress conditions. Any big change from that baseline under tough questions can signal deception. Jane often starts with casual chit-chat, offers a disarming smile, or even a cup of tea, all to see the person's natural demeanor. Once he has a read on their normal speech and gestures, he can spot the moment things change. Maybe their blink rate suddenly spikes or their voice pitch shifts when a sensitive topic comes up. Seasoned interrogators do the same. They ask harmless questions first, then watch for deviations when the real questions hit. Patrick Jane is a master of this. In every episode, you'll notice him lounging around, making small talk, and seemingly not paying attention, but he's actually gathering baseline data. So what's the lesson? Start by observing the norm. Whether it's a friend, coworker, or suspect, get a feel for their usual behavior. Jane knows that without a baseline, a single nervous laugh or fidget means nothing. But against a baseline, a sudden change is a giant red flag. Words can deceive, but the body often betrays a liar, especially when multiple signals happen together. Patrick Jane looks for clusters of body language cues rather than any one tell. In real life, no single gesture proves someone is lying, but a bunch of signs at once can be very telling. For example, a person might answer a question while fidgeting with their hands or shifting in their seat and clearing their throat all at the same time, so that bundle of stress signals screams discomfort. Jane picks up on these clusters instinctively. In one case, he literally took a suspect's pulse to confirm what her shaky voice and stiff posture already hinted, that she was hiding something. The key is consistency among cues. Research backs this up as well. Lie-catching pros advise looking for 3 to 4 concurrent cues rather than a single no scratch. And don't be fooled by myths like liars don't always avoid eye contact. In fact, some overcompensate with too much unblinking eye contact to seem credible. Jane knows to watch for overall tension, like a tight smile, hunched shoulders, a leg bouncing nervously together can indicate deceit. So channel your inner mentalist and observe the body as a whole. One shrug might mean nothing, but a cluster of uneasy moves is where you catch them. They say the eyes are the window to the soul, but for Patrick Jane, the whole face is a giveaway. Even the best liars can't fully control their facial expressions. A micro-expression can leak true feelings in spite of the lie. Jane's sharp eyes catch those split-second giveaways. Imagine a suspect calmly saying, "I didn't do it," but for a split second their face shows a flash of fear or a smirk of relief. That's gold to a mentalist. One big thing Jane watches for is the fake smile. A genuine smile crinkles the corners of the eyes and lights up the whole face, while a phony smile stops at the mouth. Ever notice Jane offering a joke or observation just to see how someone reacts? He's testing their authentic expression. If their smile looks pasted on or their upper face doesn't move, he knows something's off. Similarly, when someone pretends to be sad or shocked, their timing and muscles might be wrong. Maybe they say, "Oh no," a beat late, or they're crying without any real tears. Jane calls out these timing mismatches. In short, pay attention to those subtle facial clues. Jane doesn't have superpowers, he tells us that himself, but he just sees what's in front of us. Train yourself to catch those micro expressions, and you'll start spotting the emotions people try to hide. This one is quite important because words matter, but not just what people say, but how they say it. Patrick Jane pays close attention to a liar's speech patterns and wording. Certain verbal cues often tip him off before the person's story even ends. One big clue is a rise in vocal pitch, since many people's voices get slightly higher when they're lying, thanks to stress. Another clue can be rambling or giving way more detail than necessary. Truth tellers tend to answer exactly what was asked, while liars sometimes talk in circles to sound convincing. He also notices qualifiers and evasive phrases. If you hear things like "honestly, I swear," or "to the best of my knowledge," it might be a lie. Also, liars often avoid contractions in an attempt to sound resolute. In everyday chats, try to catch if someone says "I did not" in a robotic tone, or repeats the question like, "Did I take the money?" "No, I did not take the money." These verbal red flags, especially in clusters, should put you on alert. One of Patrick Jane's signature moves is to catch a liar with their own knowledge. Often, people pretending to be innocent claim ignorance about something until they slip up. Jane loves setting little traps to expose those slips. A classic example is this one right here.
It's like when Captain Ahab was chasing Moby Dick. The whale died, all right. But the Peapod went down, too.
Pequod. Ahab's ship is the Pequod.
Exactly. The Pequod. Silly of me.
In this episode, a man named Tommy pretends to be mentally challenged to avoid suspicion. Jane notices Tommy owns an advanced book called Moby Dick, which seems far beyond his supposed reading level, so Jane springs a trap. What he does is he intentionally misnames Captain Ahab's ship as the Peapod instead of the Pequod. Instinctively, Tommy corrects him. In that moment, Tommy revealed a knowledge he shouldn't have if he were truly impaired. Jane then calmly points out that Tommy's been faking his disability all along, and indeed Tommy drops the act and confesses to multiple murders.
What do you want to know?
This technique is brilliant because it forces a liar to choose. Either they stay silent and let a false statement go, or correct it and expose themselves. You can use this trick in everyday scenarios. If you suspect someone's lying about their experience or expertise, deliberately say something a bit wrong. Their correction will betray them. Lies and ego often go hand in hand. Patrick Jane understands that an arrogant liar's pride is their Achilles heel. If someone thinks they're the smartest person in the room, you should use that against them. Liars who are arrogant or think they're intellectually superior hate letting a mistake slide. Jane often peppers conversations with slight inaccuracies or challenges to a liar's vanity and then waits. The guilty person's need to be right or appear knowledgeable kicks in and they basically out themselves. It's a beautiful psychological judo move where you use the liar's own ego to trip them up. In real life, if you encounter someone who's deceitful and egotistical, try flattering their intelligence, then make a minor error. Many can't help but correct you, revealing truths they meant to hide. Have you ever noticed someone say something that they couldn't or shouldn't know? Catching that slip is a classic detective tactic, and Patrick Jane uses it to devastating effect. One memorable moment is this one right here.
Everybody loved her, and for her to die in the gutter like that, it's like garbage. It's horrible.
The team is investigating a hit-and-run death of a woman. Jane grows suspicious of the victim's daughter, Clara. So during an interview, she mentions how her mother died in a gutter. That detail hadn't been public knowledge, and only the killer would know the exact gruesome scene of the crime.
How did you know that it was me?
When you first came in here, you expressed great horror that your mother had died in the gutter. Not in the road, not on the sidewalk, but the gutter. And how could you have known that she died in the gutter unless you'd been there?
Clara essentially said something she shouldn't know, revealing the truth. This is the telltale detail strategy where you listen for specifics in someone's story that they haven't been told. Maybe a colleague guesses an exact outcome that only the person who messed up would know, or a suspect volunteers info that wasn't in the police report. You should often feedback vague statements to people and encourage them to talk because liars often overshare, and in doing so reveal knowledge they shouldn't have. And the obvious one are contradictions. A good lie needs a consistent story, and many liars slip by contradicting themselves or clashing with known facts. Jane has an almost photographic memory for what someone says versus what the evidence shows. If a suspect says, "I was home alone all night," but later mentions a detail that implies they went out, Jane will catch it. He might casually ask the same question twice hours apart to see if the story changes. The key technique here is to cross-check details. Jane often collaborates with Lisbon and the team to verify timelines, or he secretly tests a suspect's knowledge of an event. Any slip in continuity, and he's on it. You can emulate this by paying attention to the details in a person's story and asking casual follow-ups later. Liars often can't keep track of all their lies. It's quite hard to remember everything. Patrick Jane exploits that mercilessly, and you can too. If you enjoyed learning how to catch lies like Patrick Jane, give this video a thumbs up. Subscribe for more breakdowns of The Mentalist and real-life mind tricks. See ya, guys.